Hi, and welcome to the Your Election tutorials. This is going to be a two-part tutorial on how to play the game Your Election, Your Way to the White House. Part 1 will cover election headquarters and poll results. Part 2 will then cover fundraising and campaign actions. To start off with, let's take a look at election headquarters. Here you'll be briefed about your current election. You'll find information like the name of the election, your player name, your candidate's name, candidate's party, and the current turn. Below that, you also see your turn status, and below that, some information about your opponent, like your opponent's player name, your opponent's candidate name, your opponent's party, and, of course, your opponent's turn status. Below that, you'll see how much money you'll have for the current turn, and below that you'll not only see the current turn, but you'll see how many turns the game will have altogether. And finally, you'll see how much time is left until the turn is over. Below that, you'll see some buttons. The first two buttons are ways to leave the election. You can either log out completely, or you can go back to the Game Center, where you can choose a different election, or create a new election, or look at your player's profile. The next four buttons are the buttons you are going to use to play the game. Now in this tutorial, we're going to cover the poll results. So I'm going to click on Check Polls. This will bring you to your latest poll results. At the top you'll have a national summary. Here you will see how your party is doing at a national level. The first column you'll see the percentage of vote that your party or your candidate will get. More importantly though, you'll also see how many electors your candidate is expected to win. This is done by looking at each state and seeing how many electors that state has and how well you are doing in that state. If you're more than 3 percentage points ahead of your opponent, then you will be assigned the electors for that state. If your opponent has more than a 3-point advantage ahead of you, your opponent will then be given these electors. In all states where the gap between you and your opponent is less than 3 percentage points, the electors will not be given to either candidate. Those states will be called too close to call. You'll see that here in this row. Now, for a candidate to become president, will need to get more than half of the 538 electors that all of the states plus Washington D.C. Will send to elect the president. Half of 538 is 269. So, in order for a candidate to win, the candidate will need to get more than 270 electors. To see how well your candidate is doing in individual states, click here on State Results. This will bring you to the election map. On the election map, you can see which candidates are winning in which states. The states where a candidate is ahead by more than 3 percentage points are colored with the candidate's party's colors. The Republicans are colored red, and the Democrats are blue. States where it is too close to call are still gray. Below the map you will see a table where all the states are listed along with their electors, and the latest poll results for the Democrats and the Republicans. Here you can see exactly how well your candidate is doing in each state. As you can see, Here in Alabama, the Republicans have almost a 10% lead over the Democrats. That's why this state has been colored red. In Arizona, the gap is about 2%. That's why Arizona will be labeled too close to call. By default, the table is sorted alphabetically by state name. In order to see which states have the most electors, you can also click on the name electors here in this column, and this will resort the table according to the electors that each state has. Now, in the far left-hand column, you see a checkbox above this column's name is tag. This means that you can tag some certain states that you would like to remember. For example, if you see that Texas is too close to call, you think, well, this is a state that I can try to improve my poll results in. All you need to do is click on the box next to the state name. This will put an X in the box. So this will so you'll have tagged the state so that you can find it later more easily. Now, once you've gone through all the states and selected a few where you want to concentrate your efforts, it'll be time to move on to campaign financing or fundraising and conducting your campaign. That concludes this part of the tutorial. In the next tutorial, I will cover how you raise money and how you can take actions to increase your poll results and win the election. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in part 2.